Hello, hello. Emily Bernhardt with Team Bernhardt. I'm the coach. So I'm actually making this video for my team, but I figured I would just go ahead and put it out there for everybody else in case, you're curious what we're doing. Right now, the team is in a 4-week block of doing time under tension dime climbs, as they're called. Those climbs change based on what your actual max weight is. The dime climb is just the overarching name. For example, right here on the overhead press, I'm doing a nickel climb, and the reason for that is that my press max is between 100 and 199 pounds. On the bench press, I do a dime climb because my max is between 200 and 299 pounds. So that just shows the variation that goes into with the time under tension. They have a chart up on the board that they can reference for whatever their max is that allows them to decide if they're doing a chip, a dime, a nickel, a dime, 2 dimes, a quarter, 35, or a plate. And that it shows them that example so they know what they're doing, with what they're working with. Right now, this week, their time under tension climb is an overhead press. So I've been working on that today, just doing some of it, trying to get a feel for it. I know that they started it on Tuesday. They had some struggles with it. Everybody was having some different experiences with it. I'm gonna be straight up. It is absolutely soul-sucking. It is a nightmare. It is really hard. It's exhausting. My triceps are exploding. My core's like, we could just not do this and that'd be great. And that's cool, I feel that, okay? But the important thing is not to get discouraged by it. The goal is not to go up heavy in weight, all right? You're just not gonna make it. It's 10 reps, it's a 5-second descent on the press into an explosive press, okay? It's hard, it sucks. You're not gonna make it heavy, so don't even worry about that. It's about the work you're doing. It's about increasing your capacity, about increasing your output, increasing the tensile strength, giving yourself, a little bit of hypertrophy to hurt nobody, hypertrophy, whatever you want to call it, hypertrophy, whatever your favorite word is or pronunciation is for that word, muscle growth, okay? That ain't gonna make any of us upset to get a little muscle growth in here. But the important thing is for everybody is to achieve the 5-second descent. It's not about how heavy you make it, how far you get into this. I'm not looking for 100 reps, okay? It's not that big of a deal. You're probably not gonna make it. If you made it to 100 reps, then all that's telling me is that you've been sandbagging your overhead and you're actually have a much higher overhead than you ever told me, okay? That's all I get out of you doing 100 reps. So the big thing is about executing properly. So for me, for example, I am a thoracic bend presser. What that means is that I bend here in my thoracic, and then I press off my chest to about here, and then I follow through with my thoracic, okay? So that's what my press looks like. It's gonna be, I got it on a rack, I bend, I explode up with it, following through with the thoracic to get the lockout, okay? That means that in reverse, I have to do the same thing. So, lockout, my initial move coming out of this is going to be to allow my shoulders to then come back forward. So in my lockout, shoulders are back, I'm gonna bend at my thoracic, allow my shoulders to come back forward. I'm going to start my bend and my descent at the same time, and then I'm going to finish from about here down with just arms, and then exploding up through, okay? So make sure that whatever your press is, when you're warming up, and you just have the bar, the time under tension always starts at 0. The only exception is the deadlift and a trap bar deadlift. You get to start with whatever the first jump is. So maybe it's a 10, maybe it's a 25, whatever it is, you get to start with that on there so that you're in the same movement patterns, okay? We're not trying to create false patterns here. The idea is to stay within the movement pattern for where the movement is. But being that I can lift out of a rack from my overhead and it's not coming from the floor, it's the bar. The bar is 0, okay? That's number 1. That's set 1, there's 10 reps at the bar. But as you're doing that and you're warming up, get a feel for it. Okay, where is my press? I've been pressing for a long time. I know where my press is. I know what it looks like. I know how it feels every time. You may not. That's totally okay. So spend those reps figuring it out. And then once you figure out what you do on your normal press, then you need to go in and do your best to execute it in reverse. And you guys work out as a team typically, so hold each other accountable, ask each other, get that advice from other people and say, hey, this, if you're a thoracic bender, this is what I'm trying to replicate. So I need to see this movement in my reverse. It doesn't do you any favors. Like, it wouldn't do me any good, right? If I came up here and I'm just letting this loose and I'm just holding it here, all I'm doing is lighten up my triceps, okay? probably lighten up my forearms because I'm sitting here wiggle wagging, okay? Or I'm not making it 5 seconds, all right? I'm maybe going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, counting out that last couple real fast just to make 5. That's not the goal, all right, guys? So get it up, get into your position, walk through whatever your pressing position is, and explode. Following that movement pattern will also give you the ability to explode. Remember, a press is a full body movement, just like pretty much everything else, as we all know. So your descent and your time under tension needs to be a full body movement. Everything should be tight. You should be feeling it. Your legs should be bending a little bit as you're going into it so that you can then snap. Think of it like a rubber band. We're pulling the rubber band back, and then we're gonna let it go, and it's gonna launch. All right, so that's time under tension. I'll share some videos from today just so you guys can kind of see how I was doing it and how it feels. And let's go out there, let's execute, let's have some good movements. You got this.